You're one of the voices too, right?
I am, yes.
The mermaid,
Mermaid.
Sophie.
Yep. Yep. Ruined my
Okay.
voice for life. But yeah,
Really?
that was a tough thing to do. So parents find it completely annoying and kids love it. So there you go.
So, okay, this is totally random. Why is it that primetime kids shows often have voices that are unique like that?
Because children's brains are different than ours are, and they're still developing, and they love that high. I mean, listen to a child around your house, high pitched squealing, yelling, driving you crazy. Your ears are different and they filter things differently, but kids love that sound and that dynamism and those exciting different things. And so we always have parents and teachers saying, oh, this is driving me nuts. And kids just love it. So when we tested it on kids, that's what they most connected with.
As we get older, our ears hunger for something normal, whereas they want something that doesn't sound normal, like
They do.
parents and siblings. And
They do. They've got all that creativity just blossoming, and they're adventuring, and discovering the world. So they want to hear all these different sounds, and they're all new to them. It's all different to them. You get to be my age, and you're like, yeah, I heard that sound, and it's annoying. But they love that color. They do the same thing with color. We like to see patterns that make sense in color and hues, but with children, they just want every color on the page, filling up every corner of it.
everything. It's like jam right to the edge of the toast. Like otherwise it's wrong.
Yep. That's right.
Okay. I don't want to spoil it too quickly, so we're going to get into this in just a second. It's in this wonderful YouTube show, and then it's also a program. So welcome, Camille Pauley. Welcome to Mastermind. It's good to have you with us.
Thank you.
Friends, this is Smart Catholics Mastermind. We're here to meet the minds and hearts of Catholic creators. They devote their time and talent to mastering their vocation so that normal people like you and I can live fuller lives faster, maybe get a little smarter. I'm your host, Dominic. Camille Pauley is the co-founder and president of Healing the Culture. It was founded in 2003 with Father Robert Spitzer, and it's grown into an internationally recognized organization. Tremendous influence in the cultural battle over abortion and euthanasia. She has 25 years of experience as a pro-life advocate, and now she makes movies with puppets, and she voices Sophie, the mermaid. It's like, yeah, I absolutely see those two things coming together here. Before talking about that, could you share a little bit more about your story, Camille, and how you got to where you are today, and what prompted a puppet show?
Well, I spent my life thinking that I would be single. And I thought I was on the mission, pro-life mission, and this was my life. And, I'd already kind of mastered humility and patience and all that kind of stuff. And then I met my husband, and I discovered what patience and humility really is in a marriage. And then I had children. And then I found out how really not patient and really not humble I am. That's right. Yeah. And it was in the course of having children, working in my pro-life role, that I realized young children today are being corrupted in ways I never had to worry about when I was little. I took my kids to the library, and literally we did research on this. Every 10th book in the Seattle Library, the children's section, was something you would never want your child to read as a Catholic. There were books there about, gender identity. Susie can be Charlie. Your mom could have two husbands. Your mom might be a man. And even we found an online book called Sister Apple, Sister Pig, that was about a little 4-year-old boy who was so glad that his mom had an abortion of his younger sister, because now he didn't fight with her and he didn't have to share his toys. They could be friends because she was his happy ghost. Oh, wow. Yeah. And that's when I decided we really need to do something for younger kids to combat this and give them something true, good, and beautiful. And so the idea of a child's program came to mind. And it was on an airplane that I came up with the idea of a puppet, kind of a puppet theme, sort of like Sesame Street, and it took off from there.
So tell us more about this. It's not just a fun show. You've also built a program around it.
Right. It's a program for kindergarten through about 3rd grade. It's called Philo and Sophie, from the name philosophy, love of wisdom. And it uses puppetry, animation, really high class animation, live actors, amazing songs, very catchy songs, in these little 9, 10, 12-minute segments, or learning units, we call them, that teaches children Father Robert Spitzer's curriculum on the philosophy of the dignity of human life. And so we basically took college level program, adult level program, and digested it down for little children. And people thought, how can you do that? I mean, if you know anything about Father Spitzer, he's like way up here and we're all kind of over here. And, and his stuff is just amazing and dense and wonderful. But how can you teach that to a kindergartner? Well, we did it and we tested it in classrooms, and kids are not dumb. They understand that there are different kinds of happiness, and some will leave you more happy than others, that there are different ways to interpret success, and that somebody who is disabled is not necessarily condemned to a life of being unsuccessful, that there are different ways you can view importance, and that what makes you important is not how much you have and what you can do. It's how much you can love and contribute in that way. And they even understand concepts like contradictions, that something you can't say that this is a baby and not a baby because of what you want. And we've managed to introduce these themes in very innocent ways, clever ways that don't talk about abortion or those other, these kind of deep subjects with innocent minds. And we tested it in schools and classrooms all over the country. And the kids really do understand these concepts. And they start teaching it to their parents, which was a kind of a neat thing to see. They notice, you're making a contradiction, Mom, or these little 6-year-olds, that's a contradiction. They know. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
How, I'm just curious, like peeking under the hood, how is it produced? Like who comes up with the music and the talent and all the creativity that goes into it?
I have an amazing team. John Anderson is our production director. He worked a lot with me on kind of creating and developing these characters. I came up with the idea of a mermaid who was goofy. You have to have a mermaid at anything you do for kids these days. A penguin who is British to kind of offset her, and then a red furry monster. And then he really helped me develop them. He's actually, developed the parts, especially of the two male figures, the penguin and the monster. And then Seattle is a wonderful place for talent, that kind of talent. And we pulled together a very talented group of people to act and to sing. I wrote most of the songs, and then Eric Nessheim, a very talented vocalist, wrote the music behind it. And then we had a lot of local people perform, people from our church. My kids are in the production. You'll see my husband's hand in one of them holding a puppet. Everybody. So it was kind of a family as well as a community affair.
Wow. What's well, you said the response has been great for it. Yes. And where is it going? Is it well? Let me ask you. You also created a program. A self-paced, free, I think it was, online program.
All free. It's online. People can access it at healingtheculture.com, which is our website, and they can scroll down on the homepage and click on Philo and Sophie. It's a quick registration. Takes you about a minute to register. It's all free. And there's not just videos. There's about 9 different little video episodes that you can watch if you're a parent at home with your child or a grandparent. You could use them in a religious education program at your church. But there's also materials there that make it a complete 3-day program in kindergarten, and then in first grade, and then again in second grade for teachers. There's lesson plans and pacing guides and activities and take-home pieces for the parents and games, and it's all laid out where you don't have to do any work. It's pretty much plug and play. Show the video, give the little talk, do the activity, send them home with a coloring page to talk to mom and dad about it. And so, usually it's about a 3-day program in each of those grades. So real free, real easy, and a lot of fun.
That's awesome. In a second, I want to ask you maybe what's next and what are some of the new things you're thinking about. But if you're those who are watching this right now, if you're enjoying this, if this something's interesting to you, please hit like. Hit like right now. It helps more people to hear more about Camille and the work that she's doing. I'll be dropping the links in the show notes right down below the YouTube video. And very quickly, this show is brought to you by the Free Catholic Community on SmartCatholics.com. We're free of trolls and ads and toxicity. We're faithful to the Holy Father, Pope Francis, and the Church, committed to a culture of kindness and learning. If that sounds like you, well, come and check us out on SmartCatholics.com. Camille, I've not yet been able to work my way around to creating like a Smart Catholics Kids
you will
space. I've had people ask for it. So far, I'm pointing them over to you all. Yeah. So what's next for Philo and Sophie? Is there a season 2? I mean, I'm hearing like children's books and coloring books coming out of this.
Yes, we're working on an illustrated comic book on the series that children can read and absorb a little bit more. There will be a second series, but that'll be aimed at third, fourth, and fifth graders. So it'll take students even deeper. Won't use as much of the puppets, but we'll use more live actor and animation. And then eventually we will move into seventh and eighth grade, sixth, seventh, and eighth grade. And that's when the older grades is when we'll get more into the issues that the students are old enough to hear and learn about. But for right now, we've got that first, second, and kindergarten, first and second grade, and we even tested it in third through high school, and they love it. I will just tell you that you need to watch this with your kids, no matter what age they are, because they laugh, they learn things they've never heard before. The puppets are a lot of fun, and I would say the high school kids liked it pretty much as the kindergartners did. They're singing the songs, and talking about Philo in the classroom, and it was just a lot of fun. I mean, we have things where, like, Philo, Frank is this monster. He walks in and he sees this pregnant woman, and she's pregnant, and he says, "Oh, Katya, what did you eat for lunch? Your stomach is huge." And she says, "That's not lunch, that's a baby." And he doesn't understand and he disagrees. And they have this disagreement where he finally gets frustrated and says, "Well, since we don't agree with each other, why don't we just say it's a baby for you, but for me, it's lunch." So for the high school kids, it was obvious the pro-abortion argument here, right? It's a baby if you want it, and if you don't, it's not, and you can have an abortion. But even the little kids who don't understand abortion got it, that you can't do that. They saw right away from learning in earlier episodes, that's a contradiction. It either is or it isn't. So what is it? And then we got to introduce some fetal development and show really beautiful pictures of the baby in the womb and talk about how this really is a baby in there. So any age, I think even grandparents would love it.
Beautiful family viewing. I mean, I've just got a bunch of questions. I think that's a good place to start, maybe wrapping up. I did want to come back to your first point. You mentioned you moved to South Dakota, and I'm curious, what was it that I know little to nothing. I'm sorry, all South Dakotans out there, about the area. What's wonderful about moving to that area for you and starting your studios there?
I didn't know much about it either, except for the monument, Mount Rushmore, which I've always wanted to see, and it was amazing. But it's a wonderful business environment, just a great non-oppressive environment for building our film studio. We wanted to build a much bigger state-of-the-art pro-life film studio, kind of the first of its kind. And we researched a lot of different states. This was a great place to do it, affordable, low restrictions, government oversight, that sort of thing, and lots of sunshine, which we really needed for outdoor filming. Yeah.
Sure. Wow. So if you're building a studio, am I hearing possible, spin-off shows or other projects?
Absolutely. Yep. We'll be doing more spin-offs and utilizing outside talent. We'll be bringing people in. We have a program called Respect Life University for adults, which people can also find at our website, healingtheculture.com. And it has little 5-minute videos on everything from rape and incest, life of the mother, what about disabilities, what about the COVID vaccine and the abortifacient connection, stem cell research, all that. We have probably about a dozen videos now, but we need to create hundreds more. And so that is going to be also a next step, is using the film studio to really pump that up so that you can use those videos in college classrooms, sharing with your friends, just educating yourselves, and even in high schools.
Brilliant. And you've mentioned the website healingtheculture.com.
Yeah.
Is there any other way that people can get in touch with you, especially if they're interested to follow the progress of this studio that you're working on? Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, we have job openings. If people are looking for a job in the pro-life movement, we've got production studio jobs for people who like TV and production. And we've got some other jobs in program coordinating. And they can contact us at mail@healingtheculture.com, MAIL at healingtheculture.com. And I can help them. My staff can help them with what kind of programs might, suit what their needs are in a class or a church or a home with different ages and age groups. Or if you're interested in working for us, mail@healingtheculture.com.
Beautiful. Well, thank you. As in wrapping up here, this is my favorite part of every episode. If you had 1 minute to share a message to Catholics everywhere, from one Catholic to another, what would you want to share with them?
I think the biggest message is hope. Don't lose hope. Losing hope is the worst thing we can do right now. This is our moment. God made us for this time, and he knew we could handle what's going on in the world today. And what we need to inject in this culture is hope, and give people a reason for that hope, because God is real and he is good and he loves us. Hope. Was that a minute?
I think it's a perfect place to end. Thanks so much, Camille.
Yep, most important thing in the world.
All righty. God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you so much.